Hello there, welcome to Ringside as boxing begins to really sizzle in these summer months. Heavyweight action last Saturday, there's a double dose of international fare this weekend, and then we're in Liverpool live next week. Good show there.
Liverpool is always great for boxing. Yes, this weekend we've got two big fights on the west coast of the States. The fans can't get there, but we'll have access to everything.
We certainly will. Our own Spencer Oliver's loving the recent surge in our sport, particularly in the super middleweight division with James DeGale's recent triumph. Unbeaten contender Rocky Fielding's in the tasty domestic mix and has a big test at home next Friday, don't you?
Yeah, big test, Adam. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, Brian Vera. Been in with a load of good fighters, Chavez Jr., Andy Lee, Kirkland. So he's coming to win. He's coming to put it on me, and I'm looking forward to it.
Spencer, on paper, it looks like it's his graduation night next Friday.
Yeah, I think the apprenticeship's been served, hasn't it? And, it's time for Rocky now to step up. These are the fights that he needs at this stage of his career, and the Liverpool super middleweight scene at the moment is fantastic, isn't it, with Paul Smith and Callum Smith as well. So some great fights for him out there.
It's absolutely thriving, isn't it? Paul's had a really busy 12 months, moving from British champion to double world title challenger. He now, though, faces a massive test against the finest super middleweight of recent times in pound-for-pound ranked Andre Ward. Andy Scott asked whether this is really mission impossible.
The challenge awaiting Paul Smith is a daunting one. The Liverpool favourite will have to beat one of the sport's pound-for-pound kings in Andre Ward in what would be considered amongst the best wins ever by a British fighter on foreign soil.
He's the best in the planet on my weight, at super middleweight, and that's a fact. That's proven. It proves in the pudding. He's proved that time and again. He's never lost. So for me to beat him Saturday night, it's got to be up there with every one of them, shocks that's happened in boxing.
The former Olympic gold medalist is a huge talent with 27 straight wins, including 5 at the Oracle Arena, which has become a fortress for the Oakland local.
It's an honor and a privilege to be able to fight here. The arena that Paul and I are fighting in, I passed by that arena when I was a kid, 11, 12, 13 years old, on my way to this very gym. And Verge used to point to that gym, my trainer, and said, "You're going to headline there one day." And as a kid, I just said, okay, but I could never really grasp headlining an arena that big.
Smith has proven himself at world level with 2 brave points losses to super middleweight king Arthur Abraham in Germany, but is stepping up in weight to box at a catchweight limit of 172 pounds.
It's been a successful 12 months, even though I was on the wrong end of decisions, and I don't mean controversial, I just mean I didn't get the decisions. So it's still been a very successful year for me and a very successful time in the fact that I've proved myself at that level, and boxing is about levels, and I've proved that I'm up there, and it's shown that by the type of opponents that are now asking to fight me, as in Andre Ward.
I mean, I didn't cherry pick Paul Smith and say, hey, that's the guy, but I think collectively as a team we picked him because he's coming off of 2 great performances against Arthur Abraham. He traveled to do it. Many thought he won those fights, and he actually built his name on those losses more than he did any victory that I know of. So his name was ringing, and kept coming up, Paul Smith through various different channels. And we said, okay, we'll take him.
Accompanied by sibling Liam, Paul arrived a week early, working out at his opponent's old amateur gym without trainer Joe Gallagher, who was back in Bolton, finalising brother Callum's preparations ahead of his fight on June 26th. Ward, buoyed by the arrival of his own family into camp, has already beaten British opposition in the form of Carl Froch in the Super 6 final, and has rarely been troubled. Inactivity and injuries proving his biggest concerns, with 19 months out of the ring.
The time is just, I only remember how long it's been when people bring it up. I hear my opponent Paul Smith making a big deal about it, and I don't know if that's their game plan coming into Saturday night. If so, I think that's the wrong game plan, if they're banking on me not being myself.
Fighters are going to say that. He's not going to say, yeah, we'll be rusty, or yeah, I might be rusty. He's going to say there's not a chance on earth he's going to be rusty. He may be rusty, he may not. At the end of the day, if I'm going to win, I'd rather win when he is at his best. So I don't really care what Andre Ward turns up, whether he's rusty or not. As I said time and again, I'm being totally honest. Of course I want him rusty. Who wouldn't? You want every advantage you can get in a fight, but It doesn't bother me, as I said time and again. He's got a chin, he's got 2 arms. He can be hurt, he's been down before, and he can go there again.
The pair came face to face at the press conference, both talking a good fight.
As always with me, you're going to get 100%, you're going to get every last thing that I've got. And I've got to try my best Saturday night to upset the apple cart and to throw a spanner in the works.
We not only want to win, but we want to put on a tremendous performance and let the people know that Andre Ward is back, and he's doing it in Oakland, California. Thank you for your support.
The task is monumental, and Smith will hope fortune favours the brave with the odds stacked against him. While the hometown hero will look to produce a performance worthy of his reputation.
I mean, I'm planning on razzling and dazzling, being explosive and being everything I need to be to get this win. You know, that's the key, is being what you need to be to get the win. And I think based on the way that I feel and what I've seen in training camp, I think I have more than enough to defeat Paul Smith.
It's the fact that there's no pressure whatsoever on me. You know, I know what I've got, I know how I've trained, I'm 100%. I know when to get in there on the night. I've got to try my best to try and beat Andre Ward, which no one's ever done, and no one's done since he's been 13 years of age, and it's a long time, but I'm going to give it every last thing I've got. So there's no pressure on me, it's all on him.
Well, it's a massive opportunity, isn't it, for our Sky colleague, Johnny and Paul Smith, but also wonderful to see Andre Ward back.
Of course, it's a tale of two halves. You know, Andre Ward has been out for 19 months. Paul Smith, let's be honest, not many people think he's got a massive chance. They know it's a tough ask.
Yeah, you know, I think that, you know, Paul's a realist as well. He realises it's a big ask as well, but he'll go out there, he'll give it everything, and that's one thing that we can guarantee. It's about what Andre Ward turns up. You know, he's only been out in the ring 19 months, but, you know, he might be rusty for a couple of rounds, but you feel that he may just slip into a rhythm, and if he's at his best, Andre Ward, it's going to be difficult for Paul.
Guys, as fighters, is that inactivity a real problem?
I think depending on if you're in the ring, in the gym, that makes a massive difference. If you're not in the gym and just rock up a few weeks before a fight, that's a problem. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think if, you know, he's the talent he is, I think he's in the gym taking over and working with Virgil Hunter, working on things. So I don't think it's too bad. But if he was out the ring, out the gym for 19 months, I think it might be a problem.
It hasn't all just been injury problems, but promotional difficulties too. So yeah, he always keeps himself in great nick. Whenever we see him ringside as a pundit in America.
Yeah, he's been training, you know, the whole time, the whole 19 months. He's been in the gym waiting for this opportunity, and you know, that could be a big problem for Paul as well, because, you know, the frustrations that Ward's going to have, and he wants to make a statement, he wants to put on a big performance. I mean, it's a difficult ask out there.
Andre Ward mentioned that it was in Paul's last 2 losses that have actually put his name on the map, and he announced himself on the world scene, so he knows, and that got his attention. So therefore, Andre Ward is paying attention to performances like this from Paul. Not be taken by surprise as Abraham did the first fight, at least.
Yeah, you know, he's, as you say, he's watched Paul's last 2 performances, and Paul's done well against, you know, top opponents. You know, I probably have seen written around social media that Paul has that puncher's chance. Paul does catch him. Yeah, we see how he reacts.
Yeah, I think what we saw here against Arthur Abrahams is that Paul announced himself, you know, he put himself out there that he is on the world stage and that he is world class. You know, he proved that he could mix it with the best. Arthur Abrahams, you know, is a great champion, and Paul, you know, come very close twice.
The first one, performance of a lifetime. The second, Abraham got himself together, and this even harder, of course, against Andre Ward. Can Paul bring it all together?
Well, listen, I think that what we're going to see from Paul is he'll go out there and he'll give it everything. He'll give it 100%. He does punch. He punches with either hand. And so if Andre Ward starts slowly and Paul catches him, then he's got a chance. But I think the longer the fight goes, the more you've got to favour Ward.
What about the weight issue as well? It's 4 pounds higher. Surely that suits Ward as a light heavyweight gold medalist.
Well, this is the problem, Adam, that everything is in Ward's favour out there. You know, he's in his hometown. You know, he's 19 months out, so he's looking to make a statement. He's got the weight advantage. He's got this catch weight, which doesn't go in Paul's favour at all. Because Paul, obviously coming up from middle to super middle, Andre Ward's going to be a lot naturally bigger. So, you know, it's a very difficult job.
Andre Ward, at his best, is the best we can ever consider. Would we expect that performance from Andre Ward when he gets in the ring with Paul Smith? This is when he beat Carl Froch, and we've seen what Carl Froch is going to do, but he completely outboxed Carl.
Yeah, I think he'll do the same, you know, against Paul. He'll stick to his boxing skills, and you know, as you say, he's an Olympic champion. He's a talent, and you know, I don't think that blush will do any harm to him.
He's only had 2 fights since this.
Yeah.
Again, we're trying to look for lifelines for Paul to say,
Sure.
is that going to be a problem?
Johnny.
But that's on form. That's when he's had a busy run of fights.
It's not just that he's classy and that he can box. It's that he can actually he can have it out as well. He can stand there toe to toe. He out hustled Froch in a lot of this fight as well. You know, people forget he's not just a nice boxer. He can stand and have a fight as well.
Some people say he's not a fan's favourite because of his style, but then, you know, some people for some reason don't like Floyd Mayweather's style.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're brilliant, you're brilliant.
Exactly, and he is brilliant. You know, I think on his day he's up there with Floyd Mayweather as pound for pound the best fighter. He's unbeaten since a 13-year-old kid. And that's not for no reason, you know, it's because he's brilliant, and love him or hate him, you know, he gets results.
Rocky, do you think size is going to be the major issue apart from skill? Do you think it's going to be a major issue here?
A little bit, I think. You know, they weigh in, and then it's how much weight he puts on after the weigh-in. So he's big for the weight, and I think, you know, he'll use it all as his advantage.
If you suddenly got the call and you were in Paul Smith's shoes, how would you go about it?
It's the same the way Paul probably go about it. You know, you've got to give it everything, you know, and as you say, that puncher's chance of catching him and then capitalising on it. But you know, you're in for a tough night's work. You're in for a masterclass of a performance of Andre Ward. So it'd just be good to share a ring with him and you know, mix it with that kind of level.
I think the way that you've got to go about it is seeing it as no pressure on your shoulders. You're in with one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and you just got to go out there and give it everything. And I think that Paul sees it as that.
We wish Paul all the very best. Ed's back from that Campbell-Coyle confrontation last week to round up this week's news, and there's a little bit of nostalgia in there, isn't there?
It certainly is. Well, it's difficult not to root for Paul Smith, who we followed on every step of his journey. He's a veteran of 40 professional fights now and has won area titles, English belts and been British champion. But our cameras first filmed him as a fresh-faced amateur 13 long years ago as Paul, boxing for the famous Rotunda Club, won the English ABA light middleweight title in Barnsley by beating the hard-hitting Martin Concepcion on points. And while we're delving into the archives this weekend, at the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota, Argentinian Sergio Martinez officially announced his retirement. So let's remind ourselves of the first time he visited Britain. 12 years ago this week, he faced Richard the Secret Williams for the IBO light middleweight title at the old Emmy Inn in Manchester. The Londoner started well, dropping the visitor twice before Martinez regrouped and scored a knockdown himself, eventually winning on points. There was a return and Martinez won again, this time inside the distance, and he went on to become a dominant world middleweight champion. Also, congratulations to Prince Nassim Hamed, Ray Mancini and Riddick Bowe on their Hall of Fame induction. Now let's turn our attention to Las Vegas this weekend for a battle with real significance as former world champions collide at catchweight. Adrian the Problem Broner taking on Showtime's Sean Porter.
I'm one of the biggest names in boxing, and this is a big fight because Adrian Bronner is on the card. You know, no disrespect to Sean Porter. It's really no bad blood because, like, we both from Ohio. We grew up together, the amateurs together. You know, we watched each other's career like this. We even been in a ring before, and it's just a business. Now I got to get this money. You know, either I make it look easy or even if it's a hard fight, you know, I'm going to win this fight no matter what.
This is an exciting time for Team Porter, exciting time for myself. Been looking forward to this fight since it was announced. It's a big, exciting time for boxing, and I am just very, very pleased and honored to be a part of it.
I'm going to be the most skillful fighter on June 20th. I'm going to be the most powerful fighter June 20th, and I'm going to definitely be the prettiest fighter on June 20th. So it don't matter, you know, whatever you bring to the table, we're gonna do what we got to do to get our victory.
It's become one of the most anticipated fights that I can remember reading and looking at in a long time. So, you know, we just had Mayweather and Pacquiao, but now we got Porter and Bronner. I look to do some things that night that are gonna make you guys say, this fight was way better than Pacquiao and Mayweather.
We'll be showing that fight over the weekend as a double header with Ward against Smith. Meanwhile, in Montreal, the Canadian puncher David Lemieux